Welcome to this information video outlining the housing charge options being presented to Rainbow members to vote on at the June 29th AGM. The three options discussed in this video were developed by the End of Operating Agreement Committee. This committee was formed as a result of workshops held in early 2020, which many of you attended. The committee is made up of 5 Rainbow members and 2 staff. Thank you for all the hard work these volunteers did to bring these options to Rainbow members for the vote. The EOA has looked at 3 areas: renovation, expansion, and housing charges. But as the internal subsidy program will end September 30th, 2021, the focus has been mostly on housing charges. Before we get into the details, we first need to speak a little bit about Rainbow's revenue and expenses. I'm going to explain our revenue and expenses in a simple way. This shows Rainbow's revenue from 2019. About $690,000 came from the housing charges paid by Rainbow members. Just under $300,000 of this revenue came from the Saskatchewan government through subsidy payments, and around $12,000 came from other sources. In 2019, Rainbow had just over $1 million in revenue. Here are Rainbow's expenses for 2019. Operation costs include things like insurance, property taxes, maintenance costs, utility bills, and staff salaries, and came to about $590,000. The amount Rainbow paid for the mortgage was $331,369. Rainbow put $103,000 into the replacement reserve. Every year, Rainbow puts an agreed upon amount into its replacement reserves for future maintenance costs. The total expenses for Rainbow in 2019 were $1,022,932. In October this year, Rainbow will no longer have the mortgage as an expense, but Rainbow will also no longer be getting government assistance. Our expenses will be going down by about $330,000. But our revenue will also be going down by about $300,000. This is why Rainbow cannot afford to offer the same rent geared to income subsidy that members have been receiving from the government of Saskatchewan. The EOA committee looked at several different options. They looked at the housing charges used by other affordable housing providers in Saskatoon. They researched what a below market rate charge would look like. They developed a customized version of housing charges based on income, which included changing the definition of what is considered income. They also determined what the costs of a modified rent geared to income subsidy would be. The 3 housing charge options the committee recommends are a 25% below market rate, a 30% below market rate, and a minimum maximum scenario. Please understand, the Rainbow membership will vote for one of these 3 options at the June AGM. The option chosen will be how much your housing charges will be as of October this year, 2021. The housing charges presented here will need to be paid in full by members. There is no subsidy after September 2021. Now let's look at the housing options. The below market rate option uses the market rate determined by the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, or CMHC. This federal organization provides national annual reports on the housing market. The market rate is what people are paying on average for rent. This report gives us the average rents for our area, which is Saskatoon Northeast. Using these numbers, we can calculate our housing charges at different percentages below the market rate for our area. This table shows our current housing charges and where they fit in terms of a below market rate scenario. As you can see, one-bedroom units are currently 20% below market. The two-bedroom apartments are 25% below market. Two-bedroom townhouses are 15% below market. And the three- and four-bedroom townhouses are also coming in at around 25% below market. The below market rate option presented by the EOA committee will equalize housing charges across the community. This is what below market rate looks like at the 25% level. Moving from left to right in this chart, the first column shows the size of unit from one-bedroom apartments to four-bedroom townhouses. The second column shows the housing charges for Rainbow in this year 2021. The third column shows the CMHC market rate for 2020 in our Saskatoon Northeast area. The fourth column shows what the housing charge at 25% of the CMHC market rate would be. The fifth column shows the difference between the current Rainbow housing charge and the 25% below market rate. The sixth column shows the revenue per unit and total annual revenue, assuming that we have full vacancy. You can see that all units see a decrease in the housing charge except for the four-bedroom townhouse. This is because our four bedrooms are already a little more than 25% below market rate. The most noticeable decrease in charges is for the two-bedroom townhouse. That's because, if you remember, the two-bedroom townhouses are only at 15% below market right now. The one-bedrooms see a $60 decrease, the two-bedroom apartment sees a $23 decrease, and the three-bedroom townhouses see a $12 decrease. This table shows the same option, but at 30% below market rate. So again, the first column shows the unit size, second column shows the 2021 housing charges, third column shows the CMHC market rate, the fourth column shows what the housing charge at 30% of the CMHC market rate would be. The fifth column shows the difference between current Rainbow housing charge and 30% below market rate. The sixth column shows the revenue expected with the scenario, again assuming full vacancy. In this option, every unit size sees a decrease in housing charges. The one-bedroom apartments go down by $108, two-bedroom apartments decrease by $81, two-bedroom townhouses again see the most decrease at $171. The three bedrooms go down by $82, and the four-bedroom townhouses see a $70 decrease. Now we'll look at the minimum maximum option. The third option being put to membership is the minimum maximum scenario, or min-max. The min-max option is an income-based housing charge. This scenario would create a minimum and a maximum housing charge based on income. The annual household income will determine the housing charge. This chart shows the minimum and maximum housing charges per unit. This system is still income-based, but it's different from the government subsidy Rainbow members currently receive in three important ways. There is a minimum housing charge that must be paid for each sized unit. The rent geared to income subsidy provided by the government has a lower minimum charge than these ones, and those currently receiving a government subsidy will notice this difference. There is a maximum housing charge for each unit size, which is higher than our current housing charges. The income used in this calculation will include every form of income that comes into a household by members 18 and older, unless that person is a student under the age of 24. As mentioned earlier, Rainbow will be including income that was not included before. The government RGI subsidy that our members receive today does not include the income sources listed here. The minimum maximum scenario will. For example, things like the child tax benefit and scholarships and bursaries will count towards your household income. Here you will see the housing charges that each unit would pay depending on their income. If your household income is under $20,000, you would pay the minimum housing charge. A one-bedroom is $600, two-bedroom apartment $700, two-bedroom townhouse $900, three-bedroom townhouse $1,000, and a four-bedroom townhouse is $1,200. You would add $100 to this minimum charge if your income is between $20,001 and $40,000. You would add $200 to the minimum charge if your income is between $40,001 and $60,000. If the annual household income is $60,000 and over, you would pay the maximum housing charge. Here we see all three options and their cost per unit. Using the one bedroom as an example, you can see that at the 30% below market rate, the housing charge would be $670 a month. At 25% below market rate, it would be $718 a month. And with the minimum maximum example, depending on how much income your house has, you would pay between $600 and $800 a month. Take some time here to find your unit. Every option put forward from the EOA committee will mean a decrease in Rainbow's revenue, because every option presented here today has lower housing charges for each of the units. This chart shows how much revenue Rainbow will lose based on each of the options. It's being compared to how much Rainbow's mortgage payments are. In 2022, Rainbow's revenue would go down by about $91,000 with the 30% option, $23,000 using the 25% option, and about $2,000 using the min-max option. Based on projections which include a 3% annual growth rate, in 2042, the 30% option would decrease Rainbow's revenue by about $165,000. The 25% option would decrease revenue by $40,000. And the minimum maximum option would lose about $3,600. We'll now discuss the pros and cons of the options presented. The pros of the below market rate options include an equal system. All charges are at same percentage below market, which is currently not the case. Each unit size can see a decrease in their housing charge. It's easy to comply with future funders' affordability requirements. This will be needed for future grants and loans. It's easy to budget. The housing charges are known based on annual CMHC market rate numbers. It's easy to administer. There is a flat rate housing charge and no need to check income sources. There are no calculations of housing charges based on income. It eliminates the potential for intended or unintended false income reporting. Long-term harmony in the community, as everyone would be equal. And it keeps Rainbow affordable and accountable by committing to a below market rate housing charge. The cons of the 25 and 30% below market rate scenarios. Current members receiving a deep government subsidy will likely have difficulty paying a full housing charge. This will result in the Rainbow community losing some of its members. There's less control over setting housing charges, as they would be tied to the current CMHC market rate. Pros of the minimum maximum option. The housing charges would be based on income levels, modified to include some previously not considered income by the government. An income-based housing charge is similar to our current system, and it's understood by our members. This would generate the most revenue out of all of our scenarios, and it would allow for future modifications. The cons of the minimum maximum options include a difficulty in budgeting. Housing charges will change based on the income of members, and the government is no longer paying the difference, so our revenue can never accurately be known. It will be difficult to verify income sources. There is a foreseeable administrative challenge to determine all sources of income. The office can no longer rely on the notice of assessment to calculate the housing charge. It would be administratively heavy. Many employee hours will be needed to run this program, which will come at a cost. There is the potential for intended or unintended false income reporting, and there's potential for division in the community as these housing charges are based on income and not equality. The board recommends the 30% below market rate option moving forward for the following reasons. There is built inequality to this program. It provides lower housing charges to all of our members. It's easy to budget, it is easy for staff to administer, it's fair and affordable, and it allows Rainbow to continue providing safe, quality, and affordable housing for current and future members.